Hello and welcome to your Soul Guidance with Adriana. This is a collective reading where I'll be gathering a message for all of us. This is a channeled message. I'm a clairaudient channel as well as intuitive tarot reader. So we'll just be pulling together lots of different information for you. I want to start off with the cosmic weather. My guides have given me a few cards to start with, but I want to get our context first. All right. Okay, cosmic weather, 5 of earth and page of water. That's right, opposing each other. Okay, so this is a moment, this must have to do with some planet being in retrograde or maybe a couple planets being in retrograde. We feel like the heart's desire is right out of reach, but there is the feeling of losing faith in that heart's desire. Feeling like there's not enough support or not enough evidence that that heart's desire has come forward. And there's this feeling of wanting to give up hope. And there's this forgetting of the help and assistance and connection that we have. So this feels like a big test right now. But what we think we're being tested on is not actually the test. This is kind of like one of those psychic experiments where they tell you that they're gathering data on such and such and such, but they're actually observing your behavior on something else. That's what I feel like is happening here, that the tests are not what we think they are. So can you clarify that for us? What do we think is being tested and what's actually being tested? Okay, what we think is being tested, Elder of Earth. What is actually being tested is the 3 of Earth. Okay, so what we think is being tested is our ability to provide and give for others and to be self-sufficient, to be that force of giving, that force that is there to support others. But what's actually being tested is our ability to work with others, not just be the one who pays the bill, not just be the one who picks up the check, or I'm speaking metaphorically here, but not just be the one who does everything himself or herself. It's how do we see ourselves in our network, whether that network is you with your guides, you with the people in your life, you with your guides and your people in your life. It's what is the web versus the single strand. We're being tested as to our webs, not our single strands, okay? Now, the other message I've gotten, it's a past, present, future message with an obstacle message. So I'm going to go with that for a bit. The past, we were in the 3 of fire, needing to visualize, needing to see where we were going, and waiting to find all the pieces. Okay, this was a kind of slow accumulation of knowledge, slow accumulation of the whole picture, and it finally coalesced into some kind of direction. But in the past, this was about kind of not seeing everything, seeing maybe the big outline, but not seeing all the details. We are now at the Ace of Fire. We're at the level of the details, and we're at the level of being able to move forward with confidence. That the vision that we saw, the picture that we saw in the 3 of Fire of, yeah, this is how I want life to go, this is where I want things to be, we're now bringing forward with the Ace of Fire, saying, okay, I've got my direction. I know there's challenges ahead, but nothing is going to stop me on this path. So there's a lot of determination happening here, a lot of will to take action. But we have to remember that what we're being tested on is not our ability to take action, but our ability to build. So, you know, the difference between fire and earth in astrology and as elements, symbolic elements, fire is the initiator. It's the starter. It's the light. It's the bravery and the prophecy. The earth is the structure. It's where all of that takes shape, where all of that takes form. So it's tangible things. It's everything on the earth plane. Without earth, nothing really has a home, right? You can have all the passion and bravery in the world, but if you don't have a physical arena to show that or to exercise that, it really doesn't mean anything. So I just want to kind of keep that out there, put that out there, that we're focusing a lot on doing, but we really need to be also remembering that we're being tested on building. Okay, so not just doing things, but what are we actually creating? Future, I love this. We've got the Chariot, this little fire that she's holding. Look what happens. It's like whoosh. So the future is assured to move forward, is assured that we're going to be focusing and channeling bigger energies than in the past, and that the shadow will become an ally. It's an interesting progression from these two cards. Can you see the crows on this card? So they're watching her and they're not necessarily doing anything yet, but this one is actually riding a crow. It's not just her, that's the crow head and there's the feathers. So there's a feeling that the shadow is going to become our support, that it's actually the mastery of the shadow that is going to drive us forward. So the more you work on your shadow, the negative self, the not self, the ego self, the self that wants to be separate from everyone else and wants things just for itself, only for its own gain, that self, if you can master that before the lightning strikes, you're going to really be put in the best position to move forward. Now I got as an obstacle the Seven of Earth, and remember I said we're being tested on the earth. Even though we're getting all this fire to move us forward, it's our earth that's being tested. So what's going on here? What is the block? Now what the block is here is coming to a false conclusion before you're anywhere near the end. So this happens to me all the time when I'm hiking. If you've watched this channel a bit, you know I'm also very good at getting lost when I'm hiking. And sometimes when I'm hiking, I'll say, okay, yeah, I've seen that tree before, I've seen that log, or this part looks familiar. So I make a false assessment about where I am. And that's what we have to be careful of doing here, is that either assessing that we're close to the end or we're too far from the end. We're not supposed to worry about where we are in relation to the end. We're supposed to worry about where we are in relation to ourselves right now in the moment. And what can happen with all this fire energy is that it becomes over-directed and perhaps too tunnel vision. And the Seven of Earth asks you to kind of broaden your vision and say, okay, well, maybe you've made a lot of progress in that arena, but have you neglected this arena? Okay, so maybe work has been taking off, but what about personal life? Or maybe gifts have been pushing you this way, but are you remembering to stay grounded? There's a counterbalance that's going on here, that if we don't take time to properly, I'm going to say properly negotiate where we are, it's almost a don't look back kind of energy. If you are aware of the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, one of the saddest stories that we have in our collective subconscious, this man, Orpheus, goes down to the underworld to get back his wife who has died, and he charms Hades. He charms Hades' queen, Persephone. He charms all these people through his story and his playing of music. And Hades says, yes, you can take her with you, but you can't look back until you're up at the you're up in the real world, right? So Orpheus says, okay, and Eurydice is following him, and they're going this long, long distance all the way back up to the upper world. And he's about to step on firm ground again. He's about to step on the earth. And he looks back, and he looks back to see not only Eurydice behind him, but now falling away from him, lost forever. And so this is like a couple things. Don't look back. If you look back, then you bring your attention to the past, and you bring the past into your present. But it's also don't look back, because looking back is going to give you a false assessment of where you currently are. And what that can mean is if you feel like you should be farther along than you are and you look back, you'll get discouraged from wanting to keep going. Or if you're almost at the end and you look back, you might be tempted to say, well, this is far enough. This is all right. So this is about only looking forward, okay? That backward, that back, this is not the time for that. This is the time for forward. And make sure that you have the awareness of what your shadow has been trying to teach you the last 6 months. And with that under control, you can certainly move forward and keep going. All right. I am being told to do an extended, so I'm going to keep drawing cards and putting together more of this story for you. If you'd like to follow me over there, the link is in the description below. And if you would like to get a reading, a personal reading to assess, to help you see where that shadow is, or perhaps just get a check-in to see where you are in relation to where your soul would like you to be, please reach out and let me know. There's a link where you can go through my website, or you can just email me directly. Happy to help you with that. And or I'll see you on the extended and perhaps on another video. Wishing you peace and light and so much inspiration on your journey. I'll see you soon.